I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, February the 6th, where we had a major Dow correction with the stock market caving in, the largest one-day point loss in history, although we've got a lot bigger number to hack from than we have in the past. But really taking the country by storm the way that it come off there. Around 1,175 points, and we haven't had anything near that in a one-day loss there. But it wasn't as big of a percentage of the total loss as we've seen on some of our black days in the past. But still a big deal, and a lot of times that kind of bleeds over into your cattle board and some of your other things, and that might have put some pressure on it. But I don't think that had a whole lot to do with the losses on the cattle board. But April live cattle futures were down 65 cents to end the day on Monday at 125.47. February spot live cattle down 72 cents to end the day at 126.12, and that's right where the market was for the end of last week. March feeder cattle down $1.25 at 149.67. April also down $1.25 to end the day at 150.52. The weighted average on last week's fat cattle trade on a volume in the 5-area feeding region of 77,200 head. You compared that to the week before where they sold 118,400 head. But on the other hand, a year ago, the same week, they had 77,400 head, and I think that's just a coincidence. We don't mean to have the first week in February being a real light trade, but that's just the way it happened. But probably your packers are going to need to come in here this week and buy some more cattle. Yeah, they've got contracts they could pull this month, but they'd like to save them because they know as we get towards the end of this month right here and start moving into your spring months, we're going to have heavy numbers of market ready cattle. So they want to save up those contracts to try to kill the market right before we get into those heavy market ready supplies, so they can really take it down. And you guys have seen this before. But if you look at last week's weighted average on live steers, 125.91. That was down just 55 cents compared to the previous week. I know the whole number was $1 lower, but last week we had a lot more sell off of the high market than we did this past week. So only down 55 cents. Your dress steers 199.90 for last week's weighted average, and that was actually up 16 cents from the previous week. You look at your feeder market, real-time index on Beef Market Central on 700 to 900 pound steers up through the 12-state region. Settled down late Monday at 147.25, which was down just 3 cents. So basically steady with towards the end of last week, which we saw some strong sales at the tail end of last week. And you look at your big markets to start the week off here, your high volume sales on Monday. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City, 9,100 head there. The feeder steers, those weighing over 800 pounds, they called steady to $1 lower. Your lighter feeder steers under 800 pounds, steady to $3 higher, and that includes a lot of those stalker type cattle that they're buying to get ready to turn out on the earliest of green grass. And your feeder heifers were steady to $4 higher. So really a pretty good market in Oklahoma City on a big run of over 9,000 head. Now Joplin had a lot lighter run. That quick moving storm that come through was a little bit on the north side of Oklahoma City and sweeping up through there, and I mean it come across fast with a cold blast and just enough moisture to make things slick. On Interstate 44 just to the east of Carthage there where Joplin Regional Stockyards is, and up towards Springfield, and on the other side they had a massive pile up. I don't know if you guys saw it on the news, but it was a scary looking deal there. That was north of Branson and in that area. But Joplin had a lighter run because of that weather of 4,500 head. Feeder steers and heifers there were about steady, and the calves $2 to $5 higher. They just keep pushing on this, and it makes me kind of smile whenever I hear people say, well, should I fall calf? If you've got the ability to fall calf, yes, you need to fall calf. The market on this cattle deal would be a whole lot less volatile, and it would be stronger throughout if we had the same number of people fall calving as we do spring calving. Now, for the guys that live in the high elevations, have to make the most of their grazing, different places, guys that farm that are busy during that time of year, maybe they can't do it. But you guys that are like in a state like Missouri and places like that, if you have the ability to fall calf, undoubtedly you should fall calf. Why do you think these calves, these lighter weight cattle, and some of them are being short yearlings, are continue to gain as dry as it is? Because we don't have enough stocker cattle to turn out on early spring grass. And so those late calves are getting a pretty good boost right here, even though we're in the dead of winter time. But another market on Monday, farther up in the northern plains, McCook, Nebraska, the market reporter there, which I've been watching him for years, he really pinpointed it from steady to $10 higher, which that puts it right on the crack. But some individual quotes, that's what I like. Individual quotes, strings of cattle, load lots of cattle, that's where your market's at. Don't give me a spread, tell me what a set of cattle brought. McCook, Nebraska, Tri-State Livestock, in 2:30 on Monday afternoon, had 93 head of 649-pound steers, bring 174. Sylvan Sales Commission, Sylvan Grove, Kansas, had another good sale this week. 61 head of 866-pound steers, big old steers, bring 146.50. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.